Welcome back to Big Blue. We're starting off with the kitchen. I was actually inspired for this kitchen by Lie to Me, the TV show. I was rewatching it when I had my graph paper with me to kill some time, and I think it was Cal's kitchen that was shaped kind of like this with a little pantry off the side that's in a little tiny separate room, and that little kind of bar looking space to the side. I might have tweaked a little, sorry, I don't really remember because I built this one a year ago, at least started to, and then came back to it after I started publishing videos. It's like, I need to finish this house. So that might be close to what the kitchen is in the show. It might be a little different, I'm not sure. Either way, I end up really liking this kitchen. There are some things with the floor plan that were a little tricky, like figuring out which should be closer to the sink, the dishwasher, or the trash compactor. Which people are like, who has a trash compactor in real life? I have met one person who has a trash compactor in real life. So there, one person. Actually, my best friend's parents have it in their house. I don't know if I've ever seen it put to work though. Tried to make a modified island seating place there that looks a little different, a little elegant, because it's got that console table with the rounded shape. I thought that looked nice, and it fit it in there a little nicely, more nicely I should say, than just having a big blocky full island. So it's probably not actually usable, but it looks nice and it breaks up all of the hard corners that are around this space. Of course, expensive marble countertops. I wish I had seen before British designers' videos to see how he makes marble with a different color swatch thing, because it looks much more sophisticated, much more expensive, but we're sticking with this one for this kitchen, because it's going to have, you know, the marble, the subway tile, pretty much run-of-the-mill stuff. That's why it's kind of cookie cutter-y. I messed that word up again! I messed it up in Magnolia Corner and I messed it up here. So now they match it in a different way. And then now we're popping over to the other side of the house. In the living room, it gets its own little wing here and its own little patio. This was when I started going with the blue thing, I think. I went for a leather couch and a navy couch, and I liked how they worked together. I changed the colors in a little bit after I get a rug in here, and the rug kind of inspires the colors into their more refined state. A little bit more blue, a little bit more... what is that tone of leather called where it's kind of orangey but not? I feel like it has its own word, like camel or something. I don't know. I need to study colors, apparently. And we have the coffee table in here now, but we take it out to give more space. And there's this little sitting area in the back of the room just to fill out that spot. It could be a little reading nook, but I don't think there's a bookcase in here. Or it could just be where you sit and have coffee, just extra seating in general. I don't know, I like to create little smaller sections inside rooms to break them up a bit and give them their own defined spaces. So you could technically have two conversations going on in their own areas. I do that in my own house too, actually, but also because I have a really long living room, so it wouldn't make sense to have just a long couch area thing. Oh, I should stop talking about that. Okay, anyways, we're gonna fill this place up with lots of pretty things, and I think the pretty things are actually repeated throughout the house and other spaces. That is because, like I said, I had like a year between the first and second halves of building this house / decorating this house, so I didn't quite remember everything that I'd used and didn't take the time to go and check. Oops. But we'll just say that it was the fashion design parent eager to fill up the house and bought multiples of things, and that they'll be swapped out later with more meaningful things or new things that they acquire throughout life. Does that sound okay? I hope so. Anyways, I mentioned in the last part that Secrets from Stylist was my favorite show, and I didn't really explain why. I'm realizing that now. The reason why, I mean, not explaining why, but explaining why it pertains to the compromising parents, like I said. I hope this is coming through clearly. I feel like I just jumbled that up pretty badly. But anyways, maybe I'll start from the beginning. Secrets of the Stylist was a show where Emily Henderson was the host, because she was the winner of Design Star. And in the show, she takes two adults that are living together that have very different styles, and so they're stuck in a stalemate of how to design their house or how to decorate their house. And she puts them through a little design quiz thing where they pick different objects, and then she puts them together and gives them like a hybrid style. So like country industrial or something, where she says where they are and puts it together, and then she designs a room that's in both of those styles working cohesively together. So I thought it was a cool take on just designing spaces, which, I mean, can get pretty bland if you're doing the same thing over and over again, but because she was really focused on showing these two people's personalities, these two people's styles in the rooms, I think that's why it was my favorite, and also why I tend to subconsciously emulate it by playing The Sims 3. So that's why I always end up talking about the two parents, the two people, and how their styles, how their personalities come together throughout their house. I hope that makes sense now. If it didn't, just bug me about it and I can try to explain it more. Or, you know, just wave it off, because I'm sure it doesn't really matter in the long term. This is the little mudroom kind of area right by the garage. I guess I'm a little bummed that it's visible from this formal living room, but it's the perfect space for it to be because it's right by the garage. So you'd come in from parking your car and you'd throw your stuff on that shelf. You'd sit down on that bench and take off your shoes and put them away. So it makes sense why it's there. But I wish there had been a way to separate it from that living room visually a little bit. But then it would have blocked off the stairs. So I guess the compromise is that it at least still looks pretty, I guess. This is going to be the office. Like I said in the first video, it's one of the rooms that's not blue, surprisingly, for Big Blue. It actually ends up being red and green, which sounds super Christmassy, but it doesn't look Christmassy because we've changed the saturations or the hues of these colors to make them look not so actual red and actual green. The green is a bit more evergreen, which I guess you could use for Christmas, but we didn't for this room, obviously. And the red is a bit more burgundy, but without the purple. Maroon? I always get like that confused in my head. I just know it's a dark red, and I like dark red. I think dark red works a little more nicely in rooms than actual red. But I did just have that room with actual red in that last house I did. I am a sufferer of putting my foot in my mouth syndrome, so, well, it was already pretty apparent, but now I have confessed to it, so you definitely know for sure that it's a thing. Yeah, and we have that evergreen picture up there because it fits nicely over the paneling, has a nice green color, and there's our maroon or burgundy, whatever, dark red curtains in that spot. And I'm not sure why I have that chair there. I don't know what this person does. They could be some kind of consultant or something. You get to decide. And then we have this little inset nook in the dining room that was just for beautiful things. So this is where the fashion design person maybe repeated some things, like that person statue thing. But it ends up being very pretty, and I like it. So, and I tried to cluster things to make it not look so chaotic, and to make it more collected looking, like it had been curated. There's the word I was looking for. So to make it look very intentionally set out and designed. And now the dining room. The dining room has the same kind of colors as the living room. And now I'm wondering if I used the same rug. I don't think I did. I don't remember though. But it is a blue and orange rug again, so we go with the blue and orange colors, I guess. The difference is, well, no, I guess it's not that different. But I mean, the difference with me accepting the orange into my life is that this orange is a bit more dark and dusky, so it doesn't say orange, which I think is my least favorite part of both orange and yellow, but if they don't scream their names so much, then it's okay. Now we're doing an entry. I end up going for a fun rug here that I feel like the fashion design parent would be like, oh, I love this print, I want this print on all of the things, but you know, whatever. And I took some of the colors from and played with them around. I think the reason I chose this rug too is it had some pink to go with the pink flowers on that. Ooh, I don't know if there's a word for that. That table thing. Pretty table thing with the things. I am so great at the English language today. Wow. And then we go for a green painting on this wall. I love that green painting because that's like, oh, my favorite colors all together. It's all the favorite greens. But it goes really nicely with the greens in the rug and that table thing. And here's the powder room on the first floor. They went all out with expensive tile, expensive vintage mirror, expensive vintage custom-made farmhouse island with a little, oh, what's the word? Vessel sink. So, yeah, they went all out on this little bathroom. But, I mean, it's one of the first rooms you can enter as soon as you get into the house, so why not? Why not go all out? And here's the little outdoor patio off the living room. It's gonna have blue once again because it's big blue. Gotta put the blue. But this blue is kind of an indigo blue. It has a bit more of purple to it. I thought it was a nice change. Because, I mean, you can't have the same kind of blue all around the house. Now, outside they have their little patio for eating right here, and there's just the tiniest sliver of space for the kids to play in. I think I put a sandbox in there, and that's about it. Those poor kids, just like the kids in the Magnolia Corner house. There's not a lot of space for them. But they do have, you know, their own beautifully designed rooms and their own playroom. And there's probably a park around here somewhere, right? I think. I don't remember. This is when I came back to the house and played with things a bit more and changed a few things around, like the colors, and wanted an archway that fitted better over the fridge. Fitted or fit? Which is the past tense of fit? I'm not sure. Wow, I'm so good at English today. And then a blue painting. I'm so glad that you can recolor this painting. We need more paintings like that, but maybe not so abstract. Putting some decoration outside, some little plants and places to plant things, and then we're gonna get the kids' stuff. So there's our sandbox, which I don't know why they have it blue, like a blue turtle. Why? Well, who thought of that? Anyways, it goes to green because it matches the grass anyway. And then a little bench there. You can sit down in the front hall. If you're greeting someone, put your stuff down. But this is where the family uses their stuff. So this is the family place, the mudroom one. The front bench is for guests or people that come in through the front door. And then we gotta put some people live here kind of clutter in the garage. So we have 2 shelving units that stepladder stays, and it's not intersecting things because that would just be weird. And then we just put a bunch of stuff all over, like a basket and some tools and cleaning supplies, just stuff everywhere. Because that's what a family house is like. I really wish though that I had a shelving unit like this in my garage. That would make it look a lot better than it looks right now. But it's too hot to clean the garage, so that's not gonna happen for another month or so. Anyways, we're getting up to the screenshots, so I hope to see you in the next video for the bedrooms and the second level.